Oh my God. Oh my God. One part of me is laughing out loud. Another part of me is thinking that this move for Arsenal Football Club, it's a dangerous one. It is a dangerous one. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Miz TV Total Football, where we're going to talk about how Eberechi Eze, has been hijacked. He's been hijacked by Arsenal Football Club. Look, sensational turn of events. We're going to go through all of those events, what led to Arsenal to return back for Eze again and making this deal happen. It's an interesting story. Honestly, it's a truly interesting story, and it all transpired off the back of Kai Havertz being injured, and from there the dominoes kept on, falling. The domino effect happened, and before you knew it, Eze, who was a doorstep away from being a Spurs player, has become an Arsenal player. And once again, the food chain must be respected. This is what I've been saying to Newcastle fans, and Spurs fans now. When you are up against bigger clubs than you're not going to secure the player. It's as simple as that. It is as simple as that. Now, the crazy thing is, ladies and gentlemen, from the beginning, Eze actually wanted Arsenal. From the get-go, there was conversations about Arsenal wanting Eze, but then Arsenal ended up getting Madueke, and all of this Eze situation just, sort of got demolished. And it looked like that Eze, he was sort of finally coming to terms that perhaps he's going to go to Spurs. Spurs started negotiating. Spurs were getting, very advanced with their negotiations. But for some reason, somewhere along the line, it almost felt like Eze was just waiting. He's like, you know what? Let me just keep on waiting till the final minute. And if then Arsenal, nothing happens with them, I'll go to Spurs. No problems. It always felt like Eze's second choice was Spurs. Probably not even second choice, just default, choice after Arsenal. Arsenal is the one that he wanted badly. Now, whole heap of banter, whole heap of, people laughing at Spurs, and rightly so, we should be. Let's go from the top, ladies and gentlemen. We're not going to start from Fabrizio Romano. We're going to get back to that. We're going to start from the top. In fact, let's just put all the way back. We're going to start from the top. This is where it all started. This is how the timeline started, because Arsenal, as I said, they were interested at one point for Eze, but then that interest sort of, after Madueke, after Gyökeres, it almost felt like, yeah, maybe they're happy with what they have. But then this happened, ladies and gentlemen. Ornstein Bomber, Arsenal forward Kai Havertz set for spell out with knee injury. Assessment on the 26-year-old Germany international, early stage, so prognosis plus duration unclear, but Arsenal actively exploring transfer market for signing to strengthen attack and provide cover. Now, as soon as I saw that, and as soon as many saw this news, we were like, oh my God, I think they're going to go for Eze now. And I'm pretty certain all the Spurs fans as well, they started panicking, because all of this time, Spurs, I don't know what you were stalling about. You really should have nailed that. Eze is a fantastic player. Now, I'm not going to say he's a needle mover. When Chelsea Football Club, we were unable to get Michael Olise. Michael Olise is an absolute needle mover. I won't say Eze is a needle mover, but he's a top player. I don't understand Spurs. You wouldn't have got a better player than Eze in this transfer window. You wouldn't have got a better player than him. I don't understand why Spurs, you've stalled all this time. You had good 2 weeks where you were, talking, negotiating, getting advanced. You should have nailed it. You should have got the signature of the player, and you should have made him a Spurs player pronto. But Spurs were haggling. I don't know what they were haggling about. Is it the transfer fee? Was it the wages? You haggled too long. You stalled too long. And then the crazy news happened. Kai Havertz, this guy. I know a lot of Spurs fans don't like Kai Havertz one bit. I know a lot of Chelsea fans don't like Kai Havertz either, me included. I don't really, thank him. I thank him for the goal that he scored for Chelsea Football Club in the Champions League final against Man City. But And since then, this guy, he's shown a lot of utter disrespect for Chelsea. Of course, the fans have shown disrespect towards him. And, if he was a little bit more humble, he would have just looked past that, because Chelsea gave him a good platform. He scored key goals, but ultimately he did flop. He did flop. And then here's the reason. Here's the reason why Eze has been snatched away from Spurs. I mean, unbelievable. So this news happened, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone was panicking. Even rival fans who are not connected to Eze wanted Eze to perhaps go to Spurs, because we don't want Eze to go to Arsenal. And we're going to talk about that. Arsenal now with Eze, with Saka, with Gyökeres, they are starting to look a little bit more formidable than what I said probably about a month ago, that, they don't worry me one bit. Now, you have to start taking Arsenal a lot more seriously. Whether they win trophies or not, that's a separate story, because they don't, right? But they really have given themselves a top opportunity in this window to strengthen and bolster, and they have. So this news happened, and very, very soon, quite inevitably, ladies and gentlemen, Ornstein dropped another bomber. This time, Oni, making all Arsenal fans nice and horny. Exclusive. Arsenal make move for Eberechi. Eberechi Eze plus 27-year-old wants them. Tottenham lined up deal with Crystal Palace today and player, but after Havertz's injury, Arsenal are now closing in on the England international. If he proceeds with choice, Tottenham Hotspur will pursue other targets. And all of a sudden, in the food chain, Spurs get a reality check that you are indeed a smaller club. Well, the smallest out of the big ones. When the big ones come knocking on the door, you need to move aside, and Spurs have understood that. You didn't close this deal off, and ultimately player always wanted Arsenal, and finally gets the window of opportunity. Kai Havertz gets injured. I'm pretty sure even Eze's eyes lit up. All due respect to Kai Havertz being injured. Eze's light probably lit up because of the opportunity that's going to arise. And it sure did arise, that's for sure. Arsenal came knocking, and it all happened so quickly. So this news dropped. Immediately after, Arsenal reach agreement. All of this happened like in the space of 4 or 5 hours. Arsenal reach agreement in principle with Crystal Palace to sign Eberechi Eze. Is a deal worth around expired 68 million release clause. Quite a lot of money for Eze, but I think look, when players like Madueke go on for 52 million, Eze definitely is about 68 million if you look at it from that perspective. Matching what the Tottenham Hotspur were ready to pay. You were ready to pay, but you didn't pay, Spurs. That's your biggest problem. Personal terms closed, plus 27-year-old plays for Crystal Palace on Thursday before AFC Medical. And then obviously late yesterday we heard that Eze agrees personal terms with Arsenal ahead of completing move from Crystal Palace. Deal in principle already struck for 27-year-old attacking midfielder to join Arsenal after Crystal Palace versus Fredrikstad in the Conference League playoff. Players' part now finalized too. There you go. All done and dusted. Fabrizio Romano as well tweeted it out. Breaking Eberechi Eze to Arsenal. Here we go. Verbal agreement in place between all parties. Crystal Palace to receive package in excess of 60 million as a preferred. Arsenal over Spurs. Arsenal win the race over Tottenham. I don't even know if there was a race, if I'm being absolutely honest. Spurs were just, I don't know what you were doing. You didn't close the deal. There's no race when a club just comes in and swoops the player off your feet. And this isn't the first time this happened to Spurs. Willian, if you guys remember, Chelsea's Willian, he was close to going to Spurs. And then right at the end, we snatched him while he was doing his medical at Spurs. And before you know it, he became a Chelsea player. Been in advanced talks for days, but never sealed. Never sealed. Biggest problem. Now, look, huge loss, huge miss for Spurs. If Spurs got a player like Eze, I was, thinking in the back of my mind, I didn't put up a video, but Spurs were going to cook with players like Eze, with players like, all the other deals that they've done so far this season. But potentially Kudus, sorry, that's the one that I was thinking about. Kudus, Eze, Romero with the new contract, him being the new captain. They were looking at getting Savinho from Manchester City. I started to think, my days, Spurs are looking a little bit dangerous. But now, Spurs reality check, and once again, Spurs, you're just going to be fighting for either top 6 position. I don't even know, to be honest, because the Premier League is very, very dangerous, very, very tight. On the other side, Arsenal, big up to you guys. I think now it's starting to look like a very, very formidable team. And you're going to be there, in and around, come May, when the season's coming to an end. You're going to be there. Whether you win it or not, that's a separate story. But you've given yourself a fantastic chance to get Premier League glory, and you've given yourself a fantastic chance to get Champions League glory. Now, we have to just have a quick look at what Tobes, one of Spurs fans, top Spurs fans, this is what we need to share this. This is what he had to put out. So we're going to go directly to No Context Fan Football. This head loss, gargantuan. I completely understand. And you know what? If you guys have missed out on watching the video of Tobes giving his unbelievable reaction, go check it out. He talks a lot of facts. But this little clip, I think, is sensational. Let's watch this together.
To go and get Wissa. Can you imagine? This fucking club didn't want to do what it takes to get this deal over the line. And I don't care. People will tell me, oh, Tobes, they've agreed a fee. What can they do? Crystal Palace wouldn't have sold him. Crystal Palace wouldn't have sold him. We had 17 days. I don't want to hear no fucking excuses. Why does this shit always happen to Tottenham? Why does this shit always happen to fucking Tottenham? Why? Why is it always us? Why is it always us? It's the same shit with Morgan. He was like, oh, you can't complain. Oh, Marinakis, he pulled the rug over us. Oh, Dybala. Oh, the signature was missing. Oh, Moutinho, a signature was missing. Why is it always Tottenham? Huh? Why is it always Tottenham? Why is there always a flipping reason why this club fails to get their first choice targets? Why?
Unbelievable. And do you know what? Tobes is absolutely right, ladies and gentlemen. I forgot. Morgan Gibbs-White was the other one. They were trying to do some sneaky deals under the table with Morgan Gibbs-White, and there was a here we go from Fabrizio Romano until the Donny from Nottingham Forest, the owner, came in and said, hey, who told you guys can negotiate with Morgan Gibbs-White? This is illegal. I got my lawyers ready. I'm about to take the player and the club to court. And before you knew it, Spurs walked away, and the player, surprise, surprise, signs a new contract as a bad boy owner. Because that owner would have taken them to cleaners, to court cases and whatnot. They would have lost a lot of money. But yeah, why is it always Spurs? Well, you gotta respect the food chain, man. You gotta accept and respect the food chain. Problem with Spurs is when you do finally get an opportunity to sign a big player, it doesn't happen all the time. When you do finally get a chance, you need to nail it. You need to finish it off. You need to close the deal. You didn't close it. You were waiting around. And when you wait around, this is what's going to happen. Big Cub's going to come back and they're going to sweep the player off your feet. Ladies and gentlemen, let me know your thoughts about everything we spoke about. What do you think about, Spurs losing out on Eze? But more importantly, what do you think about Eze going to Arsenal? Does that make them a lot more formidable? Let me know in the comment section. Smash up the like button if you're here for the first time. Subscribe. Hit the bell notification to stay in touch with all my content. Until next time, take care. See ya. Bye.